All right. The long awaited debut, Sosa. Probably the show you've hyped up more than anything else in the history of Sosa's life. Sunday morning quarterbacks coming at you live.
We are here. We're here. Um, it's a happy day for me, man. I'm a very happy man. Been waiting a couple months to get this shit popping. I talk a lot of shit. I mean every word of it. NFL is our time. We got some great people on here. Um, I'm grateful for you and everyone that believes in what we're about to do. Give people the best bets, best fantasy information, best DFS plays, best plays, just general when it comes to football. People that actually know what they're talking about, that aren't fucking weird. So that's why we're here. Um, yeah, man. Welcome, Sunday morning quarterbacks. I know y'all think it's daily bread, but it's not. We're gonna really get this shit rocking quick, you know.
Yes,
So
sir. As he alluded to, we are bringing in the top analyst in the game from your favorite teams, and they'll give you the down low. We're going to be talking betting advice, fantasy football advice, and also just what to expect in the game. It's going to be your ideal show, not the bullshit you see on TV or on other channels. This is what you got to be tapping into Sunday mornings, always powered by at Pick City on Twitter and pickcity.com. Make sure to give them a check out and a follow. And please make sure to like our video on YouTube. Follow the Twitter page at our names right under our heads here. This is where you'll catch it. 11-1 is how we'll run it. We got over 15 top guests coming at you today. We will be talking on every single game on this NFL slate as well. There's really not much more you could ask for. As usual, get in our comments. Let us know what your plays of the day are. Once we get into that game, we'll start featuring them. Let us know your fantasy advice. Ask us any questions. This show's for you people. We appreciate all you tapping in with us. So just make sure to give us that like on YouTube. Helps us get to everybody else.
yes, sir. With that being said, obviously we have our team gear, our team affiliation. You know who I'm rocking with today. I'm gonna just come out and say, you already know. I think my Niners are gonna beat the shit out of this Detroit Lions team. I gotta say, man, I'm too excited. I'm too excited. I gotta get straight
Wait
to it.
till you're part.
I gotta get straight to it. We're gonna beat the fuck out of them. That's how I'm gonna start the show off. Yeah, big Niner energy is going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Um, we're are we who are we featuring first? Goose and
I was about to say, is there anything else you want to talk about the show, or do you want to jump into our first matchup? The first matchup is just going to be me and you. So, hey, when we get to the team names, if any one of your viewers and listeners wants to come up and be a correspondent, want to talk a big game like you guys do in the chat and join us, we'll appreciate it and we'll see what it is. But all right, let's just get into the first one then, Sosa. We got the Tennessee Titans and the Arizona Cardinals. You start this one off. I'm tweeting out the YouTube link for everybody out there.
we talk about Arizona and Tennessee. Everybody's looking at these two teams to make some noise. Tennessee made the playoffs last year, back-to-back seasons making the playoffs. Obviously, we saw them get closer to the Super Bowl 2 seasons ago. They add Julio Jones in the offseason. They add some pieces on defense that was absolutely awful. Worst defense for any playoff team last year, bar none. They were absolutely terrible. But that lets you know how good of an offense they still have. Adding Julio Jones, getting Taylor Lewan back this year, it puts this team in a position to really be a contender. They also play in a soft division where one quarterback got added to a playoff team, but is made of glass. On the other side, we got Arizona. We got the young star, Kyler, superstar quarterback, according to the internet. But I believe he's going to be, I believe that they've given him ancillary weapons. They've upgraded on defense, getting J.J. Watt. How much they have left in the tank, how much he has left in the tank, who knows? But he got a nice little check. Chandler Jones back. I believe Isaiah Simmons is in a position this year to really play his game, be the guy that he is as a football player, giving him the opportunity to really just be that guy. In this game, I think everybody is very, very strung up on the over. Everyone thinks we're going to see a bunch of points. I'm on the opposite side. I've heard everyone all week tell me how they're going to be. It's going to be a shootout. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. I do believe this Arizona team is much better defensively. I believe this Tennessee team is much better defensively. The biggest issue is going to be on the back end for Tennessee, how their pieces fit. They got a first-round pick at corner in Farley. They went up and got him. They knew they needed to upgrade it in the secondary. I think Byard bounces back this season, and I don't believe the game goes over 53 like everyone else believes. I don't believe that in any capacity. And what are your thoughts on this one before we get into the picks? Because I have some picks for this one.
Oh, all right. So you're leaning the under in this game here. And I think you kind of said it earlier where these are the two teams that, the Titans have kind of proved it, but I'm expecting them to start regressing, and I think it's going to be this season. The addition of Julio, I think, is one thing that can keep that off and keep them an above 500 team. But I would not be shocked if this is the season where the pieces and how it was built, bringing in Tannehill, seemed to work too smoothly and too quickly. So I'm just thinking if this defense really hasn't taken that signs back, the offense can throw all for days. This just could potentially be like your Cowboys of the AFC is the way that they're potentially being set up for here. I know that's a poor comparison of just putting two teams out there, but when you have those two big threats and Henry in the backfield, who I don't think he'll start regressing yet, he's just a powerhouse, and they set him up behind that offensive line for his best success there. I just think the Cardinals coming in here, they have the offensive weapons that can match with it, and I'm kind of giving the Cardinals a little bit of an edge on defense, but I think they're kind of on par with each other. So that's just kind of where if the linebacking core and whose defensive line can help save these cornerbacks the most on each side is going to win this game. You can say any game's won in the trenches, but I do honestly believe here whatever corners are less getting trashed is going to be the way that the Cardinals win this game because they just have too many weapons on offense. Not the biggest names, but I just think they're spread out better.
Okay, that's fair. So you're picking the Cardinals in this one, I'm guessing.
I don't have money on it, but if I had to pick a winner in this game, I'd be leaning towards the Cardinals here.
Okay. For me, like I said, I'm going with the under. That could crash and burn fast, or it could look great. I also am on Julio Jones to get his catches. That's a prohibitive joke if you ask me. You get me Julio Jones at over 5.5 receptions at plus 115, playing the outside. Cash that right now. I also like Julio for a touchdown at plus 150. The biggest issue people have had with Julio was that he wasn't getting in the end zone. But he's got a new place. I think he's out with something. He comes out with some vengeance. He's got vengeance and he's got something to prove. People calling him old, saying he's injury prone. He gave up on Atlanta last year. He got his 51st catch and he took a seat and he took a seat and went and got his check, which I fully respect. But again, I really do believe that he has a hell of a season this year. I do believe that's the case. I think Julio is primed for a good season. I'm also going with Derrick Henry under 100.5 rushing yards.
Under or over?
Under. I'm going under.
Damn.
Under 100 yards from Derrick Henry. I'm also going with another guy who I have high expectations for this year in a new place. Another older. I think today is the old guy getting some revenge season. I like AJ Green to get a touchdown. I like Julio Jones to get a touchdown. It's the retirement home party week 1 in Tennessee. And finally, as far as picking a winner, I'm not going to pick a winner. I will leave you with this one stat, though. Arizona, over the last 4 years, 1 o'clock start games, they have a 36% win percentage. They are terrible. They are even worse against the spread. So, best of luck if you are picking a side.
Yeah, the travel out, I just think when it's week 1, they should come pretty prepped for that angle here. The under is like it. even though you did give out 2 touchdown scores, I mean, it still gets easy under there with your under. Is the under official play as well?
Yes.
Ooh, starting
I mean,
off week 1
like
with a nice under
a
here.
couple of touchdowns is, you know what I'm saying? A couple of touchdowns ain't gonna hurt nothing. It'll be, it'll you'll see. You guys will see. We'll watch. Like I said, AJ Green had Hall of Fame trajectory from the day he stepped in the NFL. All right, so no one can tell me otherwise. The guy, as long as he's healthy, 100%, and can still run, he's a number 2 guy with Hopkins. Jesus, good luck.
Yes, sir.
Defend that.
I was about to say, so to wrap it up, you gave out 2 touchdown scores, so obviously you would be starting them in fantasy. Is there any player in this matchup to avoid in fantasy? And I think my biggest question would just be for you, Sosa, which Cardinals running back would you be rocking with today if you had to start one? Or are you starting both, regardless if you have them?
Okay. I'm going to give you all a quick stat before I answer that question, right? No running back in the NFL had more carries or touchdowns inside the 10-yard line last year than Kenyon Drake. Okay? James Conner is going to get all of those carries. All of those carries. Kenyon Drake scored 11 touchdowns last year with Edmonds on the team. Who do you think? I think I like Conner to possibly get in the end zone at any. Listen, inside the 10, they're inside the 20. He gets no carries. Kenyon Drake ranked 4th in the NFL in red zone carries in the entire league last year. The entire NFL. James Conner came there for that role. He's going to fill that role and will probably take the job. Also, Edmonds has been hurt every single season he's been in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, he's going to miss games. That's just how it goes. So if I had to pick, I'm picking Conner. I like Conner. I mean, 7.5 carries, worth the gamble. 8 carries in a game where they're going to run zone read every fucking play inside the 10. Yeah, give me Conner.
All right, and that's the perfect way to wrap this one up and to get in.
Hold on real quick. Spliff with that. If you look up the numbers, Kenyon Drake had, again, like I said, he had 9 touchdown runs of 9 yards or less last year. Kyler might be the goal line back, but the numbers didn't lie. He had 9 touchdowns inside the 10-yard line. Edmonds ain't getting them carries. Even if Kyler gets 7-8 touchdowns, he's not getting them carries. So, yeah, it's numbers wise, it's not even, to me, it's not even a debate. Connor's your goal line guy, period. Inside the 10, short red zone, whatever. So yeah, that's all I got for that one. Let's go on. Let's move on to the next one. Ooh,
boom.
Is that who I think it is? That's who I think it is. Okay.
What's up, fellas?
All right, we got Bills, Steelers.
Little mafia action.
Jammer, welcome. Goose, welcome. If you guys aren't familiar with these 2 guys, make sure you're following them. They got great insight. Goose is college football. Jammer does all sports. He's a handicapper, so he's going to give us some stuff today. Welcome in, guys. How y'all feeling?
Great. I'm excited for today. Family owns a local business, a dive bar, basically, going right there after. We'll have 9 TVs on. We'll be watching all the games, having some drinks, and betting responsibly.
My man, I love to hear it.
Yeah, I got a little bit of nervous energy, but I'm very excited to see how the season starts off. We started off hot last year, but the end of the season wasn't our best showing, but we'll see how they do this year.
So yeah, I'm gonna let y'all get into it straight up. Jammer, start with you. You're the road. Y'all are on the road today. You guys got some new players in. Let me hear what you got for your squad. We'll go to Goose, then we'll get into some picks.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Talk to the people.
Yeah, so last year, Steelers and Bills, they met up week 14. Steelers obviously came out of that with a loss, losing 26-15. But this isn't the same team as last year. We have a long list of losses. Our entire offensive line, Steven Nelson, Mike Hilton, Bud Dupree, James Conner, like you mentioned. We also have some key additions this year, like Najee Harris, Joe Schobert, Melvin Ingram, Pat Freiermuth.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that with those losses, that's definitely going to hurt. But I think that the additions that we made in the offseason are severely going to help this team. Last year, Ben, he was the quickest snap to throw in the league, and he also had the least amount of sacks taken by all the starting quarterbacks in the league. So I don't know how much the offensive line is going to hurt. It's definitely going to hurt the run game, but the passing game, Ben, with all those weapons and how quickly he's been throwing that ball, I think that it might not affect him as much, especially in year, I think, 17. It might be tough with a rookie at left tackle and a rookie at center, but throughout the season, these guys are going to gain experience. They're going to get more comfortable with that line, and I think that this offense will start moving. I'm not sure if it'll be week 1, but I'm telling you, early on in that season, they'll find a groove.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. And many of you guys know me on Twitter. You know I'm a big Jaguar fan, but I'm Bills Mafia lately. 2017 draft class, Deion Dawkins, you already know, Rahway, New Jersey, the snowman himself. So I've been following the Bills for a couple years, and it's just been great to see them grow as a team. They take Josh Allen, this unproven quarterback. Some argue last year was a fluke. Look, there was no fans in the stands, but this dude is just so athletically gifted. He's one of the best athletes in the whole NFL, 6'5", can throw it 80 yards, can run the ball as well as Cam Newton was running the ball in Carolina. So I'm very high on this Bills team. I think last year was not a fluke. I think they keep making a step up. They have a lot of young pieces on their defensive line. Their defense was pretty much a weak point last year, but you still have Ed Oliver. You took the D-end from Miami, Gregory, as a D-end. He's a rookie. This defense is young, and they create turnovers. So I've been enjoying watching this Bills team grow lately. And I'm excited for this matchup against the Steelers. It's great week 1 matchup, top 3 matchup, the whole slate, and I'm happy to be able to watch this one.
Let's get it.
All right. So that's kind of how each team stands right here. Jammer, I'm not sure how many bets you got for us today or fantasy advice. Goose, I'm not sure either, but let's just rattle it off one by one. We'll jump in and give us any quick thoughts, but Jammer, give us your first play or your first fantasy advice of the day for this game.
So I'll start off with fantasy. So those receivers on the Steelers, last year they were all pretty much dead even, just a little bit under 1,000 yards for Juju, Deontay, and Chase Claypool. Chase Claypool led them in touchdowns. I think Juju also had 9. Juju and Chase both had 9, and Deontay was 7. So those 3 wide receivers are going to be a toss-up on what to expect week 1. But let me just tell you, Deontay or Juju, I think I'm more comfortable taking either of those 2 over Chase. Chase is kind of that big play guy. He might get a long touchdown. He might get 2 or 3 or 4 like he did last year. But I think the safer play is going with Deontay and Juju. They get targets. They make catches. Deontay led the league in drops last year, but I can promise you he's not going to be leading the league this year. He's been working all offseason with Ben. They're getting that rapport, working together. And so I'm expecting big things out of Deontay and Juju today, especially against that tough Bills secondary.
Goose.
Yeah. And I actually just want to chime in. I'm actually thinking Juju as well. I'm more on Juju than Deontay. I like Juju big slot on the inside. I have him over 4.5 receptions. You can get that at -150. I think he gets peppered over the middle. Probably gets about 6 receptions today. So I'm with you there, but I'm more on the Juju route.
So I'm going to talk about that. I actually was able to get Juju over 5.5 yesterday at +120. He finished the season last year getting 6 or more catches in 10 of the last 12 games. So I'm very comfortable laying that juice on 4.5.
Okay.
All right. What else we got? What other plays or angles to wrap up this game?
So I think Goose might disagree with this one, but I'm going with the Steelers +7. I know there's a little juice. It moved down to +6 today. I don't know if I'll buy it all the way up to +7 at this point, but I think I'm still comfortable with +6. I'm rolling with the Steelers +6 or +7.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. I think the Bills do win this game. Sorry, Jammer. I think they win this game, but +7's too much. We got to put some respect on the Steelers, even though I think the Bills are a Super Bowl contender. The Steelers are still a great team, led by a great defense, and I'm going with the under. I don't want to pick point spread under 48. Both teams are going to want to establish the run. They're pretty similarly built. Threw the ball a little too much last season. I expect a lot of running, and I expect both defenses to create turnovers. I like Big Ben over a half interception at -170, and I like Josh Allen over a half interception at +100. I like them both to throw interception today. I like the under. It's week 1, sloppy football, 2 playoff teams, but I think this will be a more like a 24-21 game under 48. I like.
Yeah, Steelers had a lot of close games last year. I think 9 of the 16 games were within 1 possession.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the game to stay close.
Yeah, and let's enjoy this, and good luck.
I like everything y'all have said. I actually have Juju as well. I have him as a prop too. So we're all aligned. That's perfect. People don't realize also he was a red zone machine last year. He had 9 touchdowns, but 7 of them came in the red zone. So
that's a 75% catch rate.
Right, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. The red zone's a huge deal, especially when we're talking about gambling and anytime touchdown scores. Those are the guys you want to really key in on. You know, who's going to get you those red zone targets as well if you're looking for a touchdown. You know what I mean? Because there are always explosive plays throughout the duration of a game. But those 50-yard touchdowns, those happen like one in like every 3 games. You know what I mean? You don't get those super explosive plays every game. I think that's one thing too. I think one of these Pittsburgh receivers get wild for a big play. I don't know which one it's going to be, but at the end of the game, I think we're gonna look back and it's gonna be a couple of really big throws to the perimeter that turn the tide for either team.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what else if Rex has anything on this one, but
that's about it for this one. Thank you, Jammer. Thank you,
Goose.
One more check out Sunday morning quarterback.
Jammer, hold on. Jammer, go ahead. You said you had one more thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to throw in a bonus play. Ben is all about Pat Freiermuth. He loves him. He loves his tight ends. He compared him to Heath Miller. I don't know if it'll be week 1, but I think that his anytime touchdown at +450 is worth a sprinkle. Not a full unit, but throw some money on it.
I'm putting the bet in right now.
I'll log it in right after this.
I'm rocking with you right now. I'm rocking with that. And that's something too that we'll get into later in the season as the tight end role in Pittsburgh kind of fills out, and it's Ben Roethlisberger's production and win percentage when he gets the tight end more involved in games. He gets a lot of perimeter guys, but people forget that when he first started, great first round tight end in Heath Miller for years.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I like that. I'll that play.
Yes, sir. As you make sure you're following us at Sunday Morning Quarterbacks on Twitter, because Goose and Jammer also released their bets for other games in today. Or if you want a recap of what they heard, make sure you check us out there. We'll be doing that with each of the analysts that's joined. You can check in their video that they submitted. But once again, thank you, Jammer. Thank you, Goose.
Appreciate you,
boys. Fellas.
Let's have a day.
All right. The next game that we're jumping into, Sosa, this one's just going to be me and you. We got an analyst joining for the next one. We got Joe Burrow's return at home as underdog, sitting at +115 on the money line, with the Vikings coming in here laying 2.5 points. So it's right under that field goal mark. And this is where I think this is your fishy or your ratty line of the day, because we saw the Bengals last year, and with Burrow, they definitely competed and they get their players involved at a good spot there. But it's just the Vikings defense is, I honestly think, stronger than it was last year. They made good signings on the line, and on offense, I don't think they're going to take a step back. Sure, I'll never be sold on Kirk Cousins. You can always just lock him in there to be a 10 to 15 range quarterback for his entire career, regardless of what his season, until we see that decline. This is just where laying that 2.5 seems a little too easy, or the minus 135 on the money line since you're not playing an outrageous amount of juice. I wouldn't want to be touching the total here at 47. I'm not sold in either of these defenses to try to be locking in under 47, but I want to get your thoughts on it. I think this Vikings spread is very fishy today.
I think I originally thought it was a bit fishy, possibly. However, after everything I've looked through, man, I have to roll with. I got to roll with the Vikings to cover this spread today. I honestly, I don't think it's as fishy as people think. I think the number should be higher. I think that people are not realizing that this Vikings team had a ton of talent hurt last year. They had a lot of players out of their lineup. They have a defensive coach. They had 6 rookies starting at one point on defense. I like this Bengals team, but if you're going to tell me that Danielle Hunter is back and he's the first guy that Joe Burrow gets to see off the edge in returning from a knee injury,
that's where that line is. Oof.
That doesn't make sense to me how the line is so low. I think that this Vikings team is more talented on both sides of the ball. I think they have a better offensive line. They have a better defensive line. They have a better secondary. And that's not saying much because Bates is damn good. I think he's good, but I honestly believe that a lot of his numbers are fool's gold. I don't believe that he's as good as people believe. But the Vikings, in my opinion, are going to beat the shit out of them. That's my honest feel here. I think the Vikings are a team that are very, very good that had a bad year last year. They had a defense that was absolutely atrocious. Their coach is on the hot seat. He can't afford to not be good defensively. They're facing a team that isn't anywhere near as good as them talent-wise. I think this is a roll spot for the Vikings, in my opinion. Everything points to them being the better team. Plus, it's Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock, bro. Are you dumb? Come on. Anybody listening, you take Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock. Like, that's the smart move. Come on now. Smart enough.
Why is that the smart move?
Because that's when he wins. He don't win at night. He win at 1 o'clock. He's the 1 p.m. god. Like, we all know this. It's Kirk Cousins at 1 o'clock. Come on. Why not Vikings team total? Because I like them to cover. I think covering's easy.
Yeah, 24.5 is the total. I mean, if you were really that sold, you're just laying the minus 2.5 here because the 24.5, unless you just want to double down, that's the only way I'd probably be trying to sprinkle on top of that.
I do like certain players to perform well today. I like Joe Mixon to get 4 catches. I like that props. I can read off the props I got for you guys that I like in that game. I like Joe Mixon over 3.5 catches just off the top of my head. That's the first one. Let me get the list up. Hold on. Joe Mixon over 3.5 catches at plus 110. Adam Thielen over 4.5 catches at plus 100. Also, real quick, for anybody watching, I know y'all didn't know this. Adam Thielen had 13 red zone touchdowns last year. Or 9. Or no, I'm sorry. He had 10 red zone touchdowns last year. The only receiver that had more than 10 was Devontae Adams. So, over 4.5 receptions for him. Possibly at any time touchdown at plus 120. But those are my 2 plays. And then my third major play in that game is Joe Burrow over 34.5 passing attempts. I think
goes right into your Mixon angle.
Come on, I think that's easy. Over 34.5 passing attempts? Come on. Stop playing with me. And that's at plus money. That Thielen over 4.5 is at plus 100. It's even. How could you not take that, in my opinion? I mean, the game is being played on turf. Cincinnati has a turf field. So the team total is not a bad angle either, or the over in the game. Long as there's good weather, should see some points. But again, I do expect this Minnesota defense to be improved. They're going to be better. All right. So all those.
My last thoughts on this one. Are we sprinkling Dalvin Cook over 1.5 touchdowns at plus 270?
Yes.
Because that's if there's a touchdown scorer there, they're 1 touchdown or anytime scores minus 190. You could probably throw that in as one of your degenerate parlay pieces because I know the community loves their parlays. I don't really like parlays that much, but I know you guys like it. So that's a nice little parlay piece. Sosa and I was able to find for you. And then the over 1.5 touchdowns at plus 270. I mean, I just think that one cashes easily as well. So that's a half unit play for me there on the Dalvin Cook over 1.5 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't beat the odds at plus 270. Again, we're looking at numbers. Dalvin Cook first in the NFL, second in the NFL in red zone carries last year. The only running back with more red zone carries than Dalvin Cook last year was Josh Jacobs. So if you're close to the line, bro, we have literally seen Minnesota get inside the 5 and hand it off to him all 4 times.
Yep.
So he's to get 2, definitely a play. So yeah,
let's hit up our next game.
Game we're on to is the Jets game. Oh, there he is.
Jets. Jets. Let's get it, baby. It's game day.
Our man out of Arizona, one of the best in the game. What's good, my boy?
Yes, sir. Good morning, guys. How are we doing?
Excited.
Can't complain. Christmas morning, woke up at 6 a.m. without an alarm this morning. I was popped and ready.
I didn't even sleep. Last night, I didn't step out. I was a good boy, but I was just doing so much research, finalizing everything, man. All the lines are up and down. Shit, man. I'm excited. All Jet fans are excited. Y'all know what it is in New York, New Jersey specifically. But, man, Robert Saleh bringing that energy, it's going to go down. The Jets are going to compete in a lot of games. And watch out. Every single game this week. Watch out. Shit. I'm going to start off with team total. Y'all should be taking the Jets team total regardless, but particularly in this game, I'm looking at Elijah Moore straight up. The kid's gonna ball out. I have one bet. He's gonna have it's the longest reception bet, over 19.5. I really believe that's gonna hit. Him and Corey Davis have been his favorite target, Wilson's targets, man. So I really believe that's gonna hit.
So with Crowder being out, those two should definitely be seeing the share of the targets there in that aspect. And before we get into the rest of your plays here, since there is another analyst to go back at you, I'll wear the Carolina hat right here. Tell me why Darnold ain't going to go nuts all over you right now and just throw down the road and Robbie catches 2 touchdowns. Tell me how that doesn't happen.
No, I believe it will happen. And this is why one of my pod of the day, the play of the day, is the game over. Both offenses are going to explode. The defense, I don't think nothing's going to happen defensively. Maybe a fumble here and there, but both teams are going to score. I believe both QBs are going to score 2 touchdowns. And both QBs are going to throw 1 interception. So y'all know those props for those. We have a lot of film on Darnold, so I don't know how he's going to do that. But the Jets should have the advantage there. But Robbie, I see Robbie Moore, the DJ Moore to score a touchdown. The Jets have a weak secondary, man. So it's going to be interesting, man. This game's going to be very interesting. Definitely going to hit over 44.5, 45.
I personally love the Corey Davis, over 4.5 catches. I love that. I think for me, defensively, I kind of got to stay away. I can't even lie. Defensively, I do think both teams are susceptible for some big plays. I love the Elijah Moore longest reception. I think he's
value, in my opinion.
Vertical guy. If you're taking shots, he's going to be the shot guy. And then obviously Corey Davis is your possession guy. He's the big target, 6'4", the more physical of the two. And he just flat out gets open. You guys paid him. Yeah. Listen to Friday. I like guys, but like I said, I'm glad you didn't give out a winner. I like the over as well. I also in this game, because there's no other guy on the other side. I like McCaffrey's receptions and reception yards. I think those are solid plays.
The safest.
Yeah, they're gonna look to get him front, right, center, left. They're gonna give him the ball a bunch of times, and they're gonna dump it off to him. It's just part of it. It's part of how he plays.
Jets D line is gonna stop the run, so they're gonna CMC is gonna be all over the damn place. Definitely start him in your fantasy. Obviously, he'll be back to form.
Definitely.
Speaking of fantasy, King's pick, there could be a certain somebody who lives in currently North Jersey right now that has a flex spot that has to decide between Elijah Moore and Corey Davis. Who gets to start in that
Moore.
spot if that's your scenario?
More 1,000%.
Really?
Yeah, you'll see. I guarantee you, Moore will have more yards.
Ooh.
And he'll score a touchdown. Clip this.
All right.
Let's go.
Ready to
Let's
go.
He's calling his shot.
1,000%
I'll have it
confident.
ready. I'll clip it
His
regardless
name
of
is-
it hits. So I put
His
the trash
name-
can or the winner.
His name is
Hey,
all
clip
over
that shit.
Twitter. Corey Davis is gonna be right behind him though. That's a 1-2 combo right there. Mims will be the third string, but it's gonna be an offensive explosive game, just like the Thursday night game. Everyone expected the Bucs to shut down the Cowboys. I would assume that people are expecting the Panthers to stop the Wilson and the Jets. No, man, this guy's energetic. He's going to show a lot of people why we drafted him at 3. Excuse me, or no, 2.
Zach Thomas, Trey Sermon, both inactive today. Yeah, shout out to the people that drafted Trey Sermon ahead of Mostert. Shout out to Alex. He did that dumb shit. Oh, man. Shout out to him doing that in our fantasy league. I always got to shout out my friends when they do stupid shit that help me get an advantage in a fantasy league.
Dan, you're going to have to rewatch this episode. There's no shot we can run this back before game time because we are covering every game with an analyst on. You're going to have to run back.
Yes, sir. We got you, though. Don't worry. Elijah Moore over Judy. That's tough.
I feel
Mostert,
pick 6 is
auto
coming. I
start.
just
That's
don't
a
know which
fact.
team's gonna. I don't know who's gonna do it though. Pick 6 in this game.
Jets and the Cowboys. Don't ever use Jets and the Cowboys. Same stats. Mostert. That right there. Look at that right there.
The Jets own the Cowboys. Last time the Cowboys beat the Jets was fucking what, 90 something, or it's been a long time.
Oh,
I
Look it
remember that. I remember when
Look it up.
I remember last time you played. That was when Robbie scored that crazy long ball, the 90-yarder. I remember that shit.
Never forget that. I think it was
Man.
it, 2010. The Jets, Revis, pick 6, Romo, Sunday Night Football.
Oh, absolutely
San
not.
Diego.
In
And
fantasy,
they
more
beat 'em
over
last year. So yeah.
I'm looking at this question. He said, in fantasy, more over Judy. Absolutely not. Judy's running a timing offense. You can't do if we're like I said. Well, this is why we're here, right? A little sit start. You start Judy off top, and I only say that because if Drew Lock was playing, I would give Cortland Sutton a bit of an edge as the receiver. But if Teddy Bridgewater is going to be your quarterback, and you have a guy like Judy who can run routes, get open, he's going to get 10 to 12 targets just off the strength. So just my opinion.
Elijah Moore is going to be Zach's number 1 sooner than later. But Judy, that's tough. Yeah, both. Start them both. 15 points.
all right. Any last thoughts, King picks on this game before we switch into the next one?
50 points minimum. You'll see this. So that's a guarantee hit over.
I love it.
They're showing a little bit of respect on the defense. I don't know why. But I think the edge is the Jets defense, but their secondary kind of, but other than that,
Judy or Deontay Johnson at flex. Adrian, go with Deontay. If I had to, I don't know. That's a 50-50, bro. You can flip a coin on that one, to be totally honest with you. You can flip a coin on Judy or Deontay. That for me, it's a coin flip.
Judy.
Yeah, but 50. Yeah, but Deontay had such a great year last year. It's hard for me to. In some leagues, people would consider him a wide receiver too. I mean, he had like 9 touchdowns last year. So what is the next one we're on to?
All right. Well, thank you, King's pick. Everyone, make sure to be checking him out.
King picks 12. Make sure you follow my guy. Yeah,
And he's gone. We got
there he is.
What up, boys?
Our boy from Canada, Alex. He was out partying last night. He hit me up last night. Let me know. I'm a big
birthday weekend. You gotta do what you gotta do.
I like it.
But I'm ready right here. Look, you look like I'm ready. You know I'm ready.
All
right. I got my fellow partner in crime here, the Birds, but I'll be repping the Dirty Birds and just giving their angles here. Alex, you'll be focusing on the Eagles here. So let's hear your thoughts on it, because everyone's heard me talk enough about the Eagles already this season, and it hasn't even started.
So yeah, man. I mean, last year was a mixed bag of a lot of things, right? But this season's a new season, fresh coaching staff. I like that they're young. I like that they're player coaches. So I think they're gonna have this Eagles team ready for week 1 to whoop ass. And I'm taking the money line on this one at plus 155. I got it yesterday, so I think it's around plus 150 right now. But I think we easily cover the 3, and then we get the win. I really do.
Watch the show. It's how you get the top place, fellas. Stop asking for everything in your DMs. We do this show for you guys for a reason.
Don't worry. You can rewind. We'll end with enough time for y'all to look through. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Don't worry. We got y'all. But yeah, I'm sorry to cut y'all off. Go ahead. My bad.
Do you want me to get into the plays after the game?
Yeah, go for whatever you want, man. This is your time.
Let's go, because I got quite a few in this one.
Okay.
So I got Jalen Hurts to go over 1.5 touchdown passing. I think easy. He gets at least 2 against that Atlanta defense. And that should be at plus 125, which is really, really good value. The other one that I have is Devontae Smith to get over 3.5 receptions, and that should be at minus 115 or minus 120. So that's pretty good money too. As for, I do think Kyle Pitts will score a touchdown against us, so I would take also Kyle Pitts in that one. That should be at plus money also.
Right. I'm on the Pitts edge with you. I like Pitts against your linebackers. I don't like your linebackers much at all.
It's our weak spot, honestly.
I think if y'all are Eagle fans, y'all would agree, right?
Hey, I'm honest. I do. I think our linebackers are by far our weakest link on defense. But if our front seven is going to be the difference, I think, in this game, getting to Matt Ryan a couple of times.
Yeah, the biggest thing is Singleton. He's going to have to be able to just somewhat contain, because I have no faith that he's going to shut down Pitts in this aspect whatsoever, because Pitts over 47.5 receiving yards. Sosa and I have given that one out in spaces a few times by now.
Right.
That seems like almost your easiest play of the day. Don't even worry about touching the side or the total. When I'm coming into this game, the Atlanta, I'm not that sold on them. So the Eagles' defensive line is going to have to save their cornerbacks the time. I've been saying this time and time again, but with Kerrigan being healthy and being able to be in there with my man Cox, Matt Ryan's going to have to throw that ball within 3.5 seconds, if not less, every single time down there. So that's where Pitts over the middle, Russell Gage could get some nice spots in the slot as well, and then also Ridley. I mean, it just depends on how quickly can those guys get open is what's going to keep Atlanta in this game. Also, with Mike Davis as the running back, I'm not too concerned about him. Your crazy or your wild guy that you could potentially start this week, what I think would be Wayne Gallman, because who's probably going to get the other linebacker in coverage that's not on Pitts? Probably Wayne Gallman in the passing scenario. So his receiving yards or his receptions is a sneaky way to get there. Sure, Davis is your touchdown vulture there, but that's kind of where I'm thinking Wayne Gallman is a name that didn't get cut because he wasn't good enough. It's just there's too much talent on that roster there. So that's where Gallman, I think, is your sneaky angle on the Falcon side for today's plays.
I like it. I don't have a ton of action in this game. The only two, like I said, for me, the only two things I liked was Kyle Pitts, yards and possibly a touchdown. And I like y'all on the money line, man. I like y'all to win. That's what it is. I like Philly to win today, man. Fuck Matt Ryan. That's my.
What do you think about your boy Smitty? How do you think he's going to do today in his debut?
I think Smitty's gonna. I think he's gonna look good. He gets open. He has that ability to get open in his sleep. The kid can get open in a phone booth.
Yeah, fly goes fly, baby.
He just knows how to do. He just knows how to operate in tight quarters. He knows he got wiggle. And for any guy that they're saying doesn't have the arm strength to get the ball downfield, he's the best kind of receiver because he's gonna get open with his feet
Anywhere.
You don't need to touch nobody. It's just again, it's gonna take a little minute to see when, you know what I mean, like when it's gonna really go for him, you know, because it's gonna happen. He's talented. He's super talented, without question.
I think he leads in reception this game. At least I think they're gonna try to get him involved as early as possible, moving him around. So especially that Atlanta does have a suspect secondary, so you know, got to take care of the matchups on that end.
I like it.
As for fantasy, I have a couple of stay away and a couple of like. It's been named before. I love Elijah Moore too, man. I love him in fantasy to actually have a better day than Jamar Chase.
Ooh,
this week
that's
because the guys that are out for the Jets. So I really like that in fantasy.
Cool. That's
Switching
bold.
games is not allowed in the rules here. Now I'm just messing with you. Any last words on this game? We're running a little hot right now with our timing, but any last words? Your favorite player? You already said it all.
Let's go Eagles fly, baby.
Let's go Birds.
Man,
like
Sosa's repping the money line. Me and Alex will just be sweating that. I know I'm not locking in on that money line in the first game. I'd be looking to buy once they get over 7. If I can get +7 or more live, I'll be bet it.
Drop your nuts. Don't be a pussy. That's the first don't be a pussy of Sunday morning quarterbacks.
You're yelling at me to bet on my own team.
Be a grown ass man. Let's get
all right,
it,
well, thank you, Alex. Make sure to check out Weapon X. He was fire in the U.S. Open. So if you guys are tennis guys, it's a football show, but just got to give him his credit there.
Sports is life. You've been killing it tennis-wise. Lock in with my boy. Let's get it, brother. Okay.
All right. We got our next. Can you hear this kid yelling? I really hope not in the background, but
yeah, I can.
It's not even mine, bro. It's all the way at the other complex on the next thing for mine. But so you get into the Chargers versus Washington.
Oh man, it's like the game everybody wants to talk about. One of the best games on paper this week. Listen, I'm not a hater of Justin Herbert. I think he's a talented cat. Throwing for 30 touchdowns at any point in your NFL career is great. It's a great deal. You know what I mean? Like, that's great. It's a great situation to hear. I'm very, very high on this Washington football team defensive line. I think we've heard me talk about them a bunch of times. I'm extremely high on them. I think they're the best in the game. I think they're also the deepest defensive line in the game. I think Chase Young is LeBron James on a football field. I've been quoted saying that. So that's the regard I hold him in. It's going to come down to whether Fitzpatrick makes mistakes. Chargers defense got a bunch of people back healthy. I personally believe it's an under game. I think it's a low scoring matchup where we don't see a lot of crazy stuff go down. I think it's a low scoring game. I think that Justin Herbert throws a pick. Him to throw a pick at +106 is great value.
Been on that with you on Spaces for a long time too.
I like Eckler's catches. He's fully cleared, will play. Eckler over 4.5 receptions. That's his game. He's a scat back. They're not giving him the ball 20 times in between the tackles or handing it off. His game is predicated on getting out of the backfield as a receiver. That's why he's one of those very, 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 very talented PPR guys. I mean, everyone should have been extremely high on him based on the workload, and then based on the coach that's come in. The coach wants to play that short passing game. He knows how to utilize running backs. It's the guy who worked with Alvin Kamara. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not hating, man. We got to see it. Seeing is believing. Like, we done seen Ryan Fitzpatrick get off to 4-game runs where he's throwing 16 touchdowns, no picks, and then he keeps throwing the ball to the other team. So, it's going to be interesting to see. Very interesting.
From this perspective, man, I've been high on Washington this season. I think with their win total and their odds to make the playoffs is being a little bit greatly disrespected, just given the fact, look at their last 5 starting quarterbacks, and this team has grinded their way to 500. Ron Rivera just wins in the regular season and gets that team to the postseason. Now you're giving them a more than competent starting quarterback with Fitzmagic, who sure he'll make his mistakes, but more often than not, he'll play smart. He'll get one of those fluke games in there where he just shows that he didn't go to Harvard, but most of the time he just is the game manager there. And when you have that defense set up and you have Scary Terry and Gibson there, and you have probably one of the best game managers in the game, this is where I think Washington they were home dogs. I feel like it's Washington has flipped, but I think in this game here, Washington football team does come through with the dub here. I think we don't get many points scored either. So that's just kind of where this is going to be your old school 90s grounded out football game here. So it's going to definitely be one you want on the corner, but it's not going to be as my main slave game since the Eagles are on at the same time. And it's always tough to root for Washington, even though I'll be backing them on the money line today.
So that's your dog?
No, they're not a hungry dog. I put this when we're talking on Spaces, man. When I give out the plays and the lines on the Spaces for you guys that are tuning in, I'm just getting the exact number. I'll tell you which date I booked it. Washington, I booked it on September 6th, money line at -105.
That's our boy Mercenarios. He's out of San Diego. Make sure you guys are dropping him a follow. They have great information in regards to soccer, baseball, all different sports and obscure markets where you can make money that people are smart about. Yeah, 4.5 is great value, bro. That's where the money. I told you, as long as he's healthy, he's fully healthy, he's good to play.
That was just the bullshit line. People overreacting, firing down. Like I saw a comment here from Akbar. It doesn't matter if his prop's still up there. If he doesn't play it, it's not going to be graded as a bet. So that's where when people are trying to bet the line early, saying, "Ooh, this guy's going to end up being out," he has to take a few snaps. He has to take at least one snap for that bet to be in play. So at +125, I think that was just the hype and the news just moving the line. Let's get into our next game for the day. We'll be bringing in our man. He was at the Michigan game last night, so I'm glad he's here with us in person now. So how you doing, Pacquiao?
I'm here. Thank God I actually got my voice. You already know we repping.
Look at this guy. I love it.
Detroit.
Let's go. How are you? I mean, I know you're on top of the fucking world. Fucking Michigan 2-0. You didn't have to get your ass whooped by somebody random like a D2 school or something. Like, it's a good start. Good start.
That's right. And Ohio State lost yesterday.
Right. I can't
He's
get
in
much
heaven. Detroit wins. We'll never see Pacquiao again.
Nope.
We'll never see him. He will be gone.
So what you thinking for this game today?
All right. I was looking at a lot. I've been excited about this game. Obviously, new head coach, new quarterback with Goff, new offensive and defensive coaches. And I know basically the 49ers are a lot better than us, secondary, offense, defense, front seven. But if you look hard enough, you can find some gems in there, and that's what I was looking at. So I'm heavy on the receiving props because I know Kyle Shanahan, he's not a dummy. He went to a Super Bowl for a reason. So he's going to make Goff beat him by the air. Like, he's just going to say, hey, he used to face him all the time when it was the Rams. I know what you got to do. Like, drop back and beat me. And I think that's why I'm looking at Swift and Goff for their receptions and receiving.
Hawkinson.
Sorry. Yep. Hawkinson, his receiving props. So I got the ones I locked in that I would encourage anyone else to look at. I got Swift at over 3.5 catches at +130. Hawkinson over 4.5 catches at -115. Swift at over 20.5 reception yards at 110, and Hockenson at over 46.5 receptions at -110. And I checked this morning; those are still good. So if you guys want to hop on those, because we're going to be playing from behind basically the whole game. So those catches and those yards got to go to somebody. And our receivers, Tyrell Williams is the only veteran we got. Quintez Cephas we have. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot.
All on
Somebody got to catch the balls.
All unproven. All unproven. I appreciate what you said at the beginning. Listen, man, I'm actually not opposed to people taking Detroit with the points today. I'm not saying it's I would take San Fran if I have a survivor pool, okay? Because I think they're gonna win.
Yeah.
Right? But again, 9 points against professionals is still a very, very, very sharp, crazy line for me. I'm not gonna say take them with the points or anything like that, but I wouldn't be I see people in the comments saying it. Like, I'm not opposed to someone if they did, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. And that's what I was saying. Like, I have it that I was able to catch it yesterday afternoon at 9.5. So I dropped a little bit on that. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if towards the end of the game, like garbage time, they ended up scoring late or something like that to backdoor cover, because of course the Lions would do that.
And they're like with Stafford, you guys were able to compete. Obviously, it's a different regime altogether, and I think that's why you get that number. It's because there's a lot of unknowns. We got a first-year head coach, never been a head coach before, new quarterback, new defensive coaches, new offensive coordinator.
Right.
It's just so difficult to go in. Like, I'm obviously not gonna beat a dead horse. I think we're gonna win. Obviously,
yeah, me too. I think everyone.
And it's just the talent disparity, the continuity of coach, the continuity of quarterback. It's two teams with completely opposite personnel.
Right, literally.
And two teams with actual answers, and one team with answers, the other with a bunch of questions. So that's why it'd be very difficult for me to take take Detroit with the points. But I actually like the two props you gave out. I have no props for San Francisco. Do you know why? Because outside of maybe Mostert, because we know that Sermon's not playing today. Outside of Mostert, I really don't know the expectations and game plan that we're going to see. Kyle is so weird with his play calling, and you don't know if Deebo Samuel's going to get 7 carries or catch 6 passes.
Exactly.
So I would stray away from receiver props for the Niners, even Kittle. I mean, Kittle's numbers are decent, but again, I would be a little wary as far as expecting a team that runs our offense to go crazy. That's all.
Right. Yeah.
So, Pacquiao, I think I have to say you've won the crowd favorite so far. From the reactions we're getting, Sunday, we'll see if someone comes for the title so far, but Pacquiao is easily.
I love the people, man. What can I say? Literally.
The people love you back here. And I think, Sosa, you put it as a good way. The Swift bet is a nice over receptions. I think Jamal Williams could put a damper in it, but I don't think in the first game Swift should get those touches come later down the line. I wouldn't be more surprised if Williams starts getting more passes out of the backfield. The Hawk pick, I like that one big time. And how Sosa said it, just take the money line and Survivor, and there's better games and better options to pick for, because this is not going to be a defining game, but you're going to figure out a lot more of the players' roles for both of these teams here.
Right. Yeah, and I'm going to keep an eye out for, like, as the season progresses on Hawks receptions prop, see if they adjust that at all, because I think that is one that might be consistent, like, over the season. Because he's basically the number one receiver, if you think about it.
Yep. 100%. All right. So any last words before you sign off when we get into the next one?
Let's go, Detroit. It's Sunday morning. We back, baby. Let's everybody have a great day. Let's enjoy this beautiful Sunday. I know it's beautiful here in Detroit. I'm sure it's beautiful across the country as well. Let's have a great day, guys. Detroit.
Thank you. Have a good one, my man. We'll be bringing in for our next game. We're bringing the spin doctor. He's going to come and hang with us. Sosa, if you got to go run real quick, now would be your perfect time.
Drop me real quick. I'll be right back.
We got the spin doctor joining us. We got that sports guy. We're jumping into the Colts versus the Seahawks. So that sports guy, what's up? Everyone knows who spin doctor already is. So we'll give sports guy the floor first.
What's going on, everybody? Name's Ryan. As Rex said, I'm covering the Seahawks. Pretty pumped, ready to go here. An hour left till kickoff. Can't wait.
So spread-wise or total-wise, anything catching your eye from this one off the bat?
Yeah, I'm on the under. I think that the Seahawks, like a lot of people just come out and they bash the Seahawks defense, but I'm not a huge believer in Carson Wentz. I think he's going to turn the ball over today. I like what Seattle has with their defense coming in today. I mean, you got the guys coming back: Wagner, Adams, Diggs, Dunlap. Then you got DJ Reed, who played real well, I thought, last year. He's going to be starting on that left side at corner. And then you got Trey Flowers on the right. I mean, him is kind of shaky, but, I mean, we'll see what happens there. Jordan Brooks looked pretty decent last year. I'm excited to see what Darrell Taylor, what he does. He didn't play a single snap. So, I mean, like I said, I think the Seahawks defense they're not great by any means. I think they're going to be an average defense. But I think they'll be able to get Wentz to turn the ball over. And I think the Colts defense, everyone knows they're a pretty good defense last year. So I don't think we see over 49 points. That's just me. And then a total, you can call me a homer, you can call me biased, but I'm rolling with the Seahawks -3. I do know that they are 3-8 under Pete Carroll in road openers, but they've won their last 2, and Wentz is 0-5 in his career against the Seahawks. So just going with the homer pick, I guess, for that.
You got put to sleep once too.
Yeah.
Spin doctor, any rebuttal to any of that, or why you would be backing the Colts?
No, definitely not backing the Colts. It's Seahawks or nothing for me on this one. One guy that I really like in this game is Chris Carson. He is finally fully healthy for now, so get it while you can. As a dynasty owner of him in fantasy, I know it doesn't last long sometimes, but when Carson is healthy, he usually plays about a 50% snap rate. And when he plays a 50% snap rate, he rushes, he averages 100 total yards and almost a touchdown a game. So early in the season is when you want to get on Carson. I think that there's a great chance he scores a touchdown today. And I would not be opposed to any yardage props because I think that he's very undervalued there too. So I'm also saying that as a little bit biased because I own him in 2 dynasty leagues, but again, when he's healthy, he is their bell cow back, which you don't really think of with the Seahawks because all you think is Russ and let Russ cook and Metcalf and all that stuff. But when you look at the history for when he is healthy, Carson gets tons of touches. He gets tons of workload. So definitely, like I said, as far as the betting goes, I agree with what Sports Guy said. And if you're betting a side on this one, it's Seahawks or nothing. I don't see any value in betting the Colts side here.
Yeah, just to quickly touch on that, I was going to give out a couple props in a bit here, but that's what I'm on. I'm on Carson. The line was initially 15.5 receiving yards. I took it at 16.5. I like that. He hit 16 in 8 of 12 games last year, averaged just under 24 yards a game receiving. I also took over 2.5 receptions. He averaged just over 3 a year last year. And to me, that backfield, it didn't get any better. I think it got slightly worse, losing Hyde. And I'm not a big fan of Rashad Penny. I know Alex Collins is inactive today. So, I mean, I like Carson's props for sure too.
Sosa, props-wise, this game. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever be sold in Chris Carson. Maybe he's burned me too many times before, but if this is the year he finally does it, I'll be here for it. He definitely needs that help, or Russell definitely needs that help out of the backfield.
The props that I'm on for this game is DK Metcalf's yards over 70. Something about Indianapolis, I talk about this all the time. I think I was on the actual opposite side of people thinking the under. Only reason being is that the Colts play cover 2 every single play. If you're going to play cover 2 every single play against Russell Wilson with those weapons, they're going to get yards. Like they might not. So like from a fantasy standpoint, I think both of the receivers, like DFS value, I think both Lockett and DK hold great value in 100% because like I said, you're getting a defense that plays cover 2 every single play. And then on the other side, we don't know what we're going to get from Seattle's defense. Like they were terrible last year. They couldn't stop the pass. Not very good against the run. Had to win shootouts. Second half of the season, they played better, but they were never a unit that you were really fearful of them being good. You know, like, oh my God, you know, we knew what we were going to get from them on a weekly basis. It was, you know, hopefully they don't give up 35 and Russ gonna get us 40. So that's all. You know, as far as this particular. I think I like DK. I like the yards props for DK for sure. You know, just because it's like I said, you get a team that plays cover 2. You see this Indianapolis team too. Indianapolis gets into a lot of shootouts because they play cover 2 later in games. And especially another thing is this out of division games with them because they play exclusively cover 2. They look at the games they played last year. Like, I know no fans plays part, but like I said, that's the under's hard for me. That's the only play that we're on the other side with. But everything else, I agree with Carson. I agree with everything you guys said in regards to the props for sure.
All right. What about? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I didn't take anything with the receivers, but I mean, no Rhodes for the Colts today. People might think like, you know, he was bad his last year in Minnesota, but last year with the Colts, I think he had a bounce back year.
Because he's a cover 2 corner. He fits better doing cover 2 things. And he's a little bit older now, so he's not the guy who can play press man like he did early in his career. It's a bunch of cover 2 zone concepts, and with his intelligence, he's able to prolong his career that way. That's what the deal is with Rhodes in Indianapolis. He's smart. He understands where to be, as opposed to having to get his ass whooped by, you know, Devontae Adams twice a year.
Yeah,
a little different in the AFC South.
Yeah,
a little bit different. You're not seeing like Allen Robinson every other. You know what I mean? Like it's a little different.
Hey! You're seeing Brandon Cooks. You're seeing DJ Chark. Come on, man.
Word.
He only got one word answer from Sosa. He didn't get anything else.
Right. Word. Yeah. Fucking Cooks, huh? He'd be asleep by the second quarter.
No, I know. That was me subtly agreeing with you.
I agree. But yeah, it's just I think this is gonna be one of those better games. I do. I think we got a lot of talent on both sides. We got 2 playoff teams from last year. Should be a damn good ball game. I like all your picks. I like all the plays you guys have brought out. Make sure you guys are following everyone here. That sports guy, he's out of Vancouver. Well, he's originally from Toronto. Lives in
Vancouver.
You're from Vancouver. He just likes Toronto sports. That's what it was. He's a big Vladdy guy. But yeah, make sure you guys are following him. He handicaps sports. Very sharp dude. Knows what he's talking about. Not out for any bullshit. So make sure you guys are following him and make sure you guys lock in with him. Just about everybody you see on the show, as you can see, they add value. They know what they're talking about. We wouldn't have you on here if you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about. Most important thing to learn
sports guy.
Most important thing to learn about Sunday morning quarterbacks. Everyone on here knows what the fuck they're talking about. Not a bunch of weirdos with stupid ass takes on the internet. Straight up.
Yeah.
Other than me. But we'll get into the next game. Thank you, sports guy. I mean, you got to have me here. I got to be the troll toll. Spin Doctor's going to rock with us throughout the rest of the show. But we got to preface this one. We can't bring him in yet. Probably the biggest game on the slate today. We got the Chiefs versus the Browns. We got the playoff rematch. So we'll be bringing in our man Bullpen Bets and our other good friend, Chuck What is up, fellas? How are you guys
Hey.
today? It is finally
boy.
game day.
What's good, fellas?
Yes, sir. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with this segment.
Chuck, you've been pent up. You've been boots on the ground going to Chiefs camp, so you're more dialed in than anyone else. We both got our love of Big Red together, so I'm happy for you. I think we'll be buddies throughout the season because there's always one thing we can agree on.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Most definitely.
Bullpen, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Happy to be here. Thanks for having me on. Huge day. Super excited. I don't know if I slept 20 minutes last night. Just super excited.
That makes two of us. That makes two of us. For sure.
All right, so Chuck, or go ahead, sis. It's all you.
So as we all know, this is a rematch of a playoff game last year, a playoff game in which we saw Patrick Mahomes get choked out, woke up looking – he probably could have played, but, you know, the optics were bad. They took him out of the game. Cleveland choked at the end. That's really like my assimilation. I think Cleveland choked. They had every opportunity to win that game. They were unable to make ancillary plays to win the game, and now we get a rematch of what we last saw. I think it's a great matchup, but yeah, I'll let you guys get into it. Chuck, we'll start with y'all just because y'all are the champs, I guess. I guess we'll do that, and then we'll go with your picks for the day. Bullpen, we'll just have open conversation. Let's get to it.
Yeah, shout out to Chad Henne, man. He did just enough. Shout out to that man. But but what I'm seeing, man, I know both teams they're gonna incorporate some new stuff this year, mainly defensively for the most part. I see that Cleveland they're gonna incorporate some 4-2-5 from what I've heard on their defense, and like we practice against that quite often every day, so we're accustomed to knowing how to beat that scheme. I just don't think Cleveland quite has the personnel to match up with what we got on the field. Like for example, like if you're gonna play press on Tyreek and leave him on the island one-on-one, yeah, best of luck with that. And I know that JOK, he's talking about him being ready with Travis Kelsey. Like he wasn't talking stuff. He was saying he's prepared for the challenge, but it's just different. It's just really difficult to match up with Travis Kelsey, man. We've seen it in the playoff game when Denzel Ward was matched up with him. He kind of had a rough time as well. But I just think the Chiefs have too many opportunities matchup-wise for the Cleveland defense to be able to handle. I think Travis Kelsey is going to have another monster game. I'm pretty high on him as far as my player props. I mean, I think he can get 8 receptions, over 100 yards, and I think they both at plus money right now. So I'm pretty confident in that. Patrick Mahomes, he's going to have a great game. He may get a little excited early on because he's been jacked up. He's been waiting to get back on the field and get on his little revenge tour. So, might see a couple overthrows. But other than that, man, I think the interesting part about this game is going to be the offensive line because Andy Reid is doing something that he's never done before. Started all five guys being completely new starters on the offensive line. And you got basically three rookies on the offensive line, mainly on the right side. You got Creed Humphrey in the middle at center. You got Trey Smith, who was still late in the draft because he would have been a first-round grade if it wasn't for medicals. And then you got Lucas Niang at right tackle. So that's going to be interesting to see. So far, those guys have looked pretty good in preseason. But this is a full game this time. We're going to see how these guys gel throughout the full game. So that's going to be the most interesting part about this game.
For sure.
Bullpen, what are your thoughts? Any pushbacks to that?
I got a lot of pushbacks to that.
Ooh.
I'm glad you brought up Jock, Jeremiah Oromoa.
Yeah.
Second rounder out of Notre Dame. The guy's fantastic. He's not listed on the depth chart as starting, but he will be. He'll be in their nickel packages, and he'll be out there a lot. And I do agree with the Kelsey prop. The Browns are traditionally not good against the tight ends as far as fantasy goes or covering them. So I could see that. But other than Kelsey and Hill, I think the Browns have the advantage in every other positions. I mean, Mahomes, obviously. But I think people are wrong, and I know it's easy to say the Chiefs and they're at home, and I know it's a big task, but just overall, I think the Browns are a better team. And I know that's a hot take, but if you break it down on paper, position by position, it's really not even close. the Browns are just phenomenal. And I think that they're going to give Kansas City everything they can handle today. Now, are they going to win the game? I don't know about that. If you look at the schedule, the Browns have a really easy schedule this year. And this could be the game they lose. Like, this is the only game I could really, if they don't lose this game, what game do they lose? At the Baltimore, maybe? So I think that you guys are going to have your hands full today is what I think. I think Chubb's going to bring it. Hunt is in a revenge spot. Baker is playing for money. I think that we're going to have a really good game, probably the game of the day. I'm not betting it myself. I do have some prop bets on Njoku, the tight end. I think he'll go over the 15.5 yards receiving. And he's 5-1 to catch a touchdown, anytime touchdown. I think that's going to happen. I also think that Chubb will have a good day. I mean, I'm not going to bet his props, but Kansas City struggles against the run. We've seen it. And that offensive line you were talking about for Kansas City with them young kids, well, welcome to the NFL with Myles Garrett and Clowney, which I think he's going to play today. He was questionable. And it looks like Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be on the field. Those are two guys that wasn't there when they played last year. Not to mention the slew of rookies that Cleveland had the best draft overall. They got the Terrence Newsome kid is a number one shutdown corner. They got him out of Northwestern in the first round. And not that he can cover Hill yet, but I think that they're going to be in a lot better spot than they were last year when they played in the playoffs.
I'm gonna have some pushback on the Myles Garrett comment. Orlando Brown, he's faced them, numerous times in the division, and he held his own pretty well against Myles Garrett. If Myles Garrett lines up on that side today, so I have no concerns in that matter. As far as the other stuff, I'm gonna get to the spread here. I know it's like -5.5. Now, historically, in the last 4 matchups, Cleveland has been within a possession at the end of the game. I get that, right? But I just tell people this. If you look back at last year's playoff game, and I'm not going to harp on last year too much, Cleveland was about to get taken to SmackDown Hotel, as The Rock would say, man. I'm sorry. If Patrick Mahomes don't get knocked out of that game, it was about to get ugly. But this game, it'll be a little different. I'll give Cleveland this. I think the first half will be close. They'll play on tough. Cleveland will try to control the clock and everything, with Chubb and Hunt and everything. But let's not act like the Chiefs haven't held an elite back in check before. We did it against Derrick Henry in the AFC Championship game. So I'm not saying it could be done again, but they can do a decent enough job. So that's all I got.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's going to be a tight game. I mean, it's two of the best teams in the AFC. So, and obviously the spot favors the Chiefs. I mean, coming off the Super Bowl loss, they're at home. Arrowhead's going to be, fired up today.
Special.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tough environment to go into and actually win a game. So that's why I'm not laying money on it or advising people to. But I do see the path for the Browns to win the game. It's a big game for the Browns, too. They got a lot to prove. A lot of people hyping them up. There's a reason for that. They're absolutely loaded. I mean, just their backfield, their linebackers, and the Chiefs' offensive line was the issue in the Super Bowl. And I know they got their tackle back and, they addressed that issue. But did they do enough? And this early in the season, those rookies they drafted, they're decent, and they'll probably pan out fine in the long run. But today, it's a tough task for those kids to try to pick up all these blitzes that we're going to be bringing today. Joe Woods' defense, they come to play, and they're going to be bringing it. And I can see Mahomes running around. He'll be running like he did I can see it just like the Super Bowl. He'll be running for his life today. And guess who's coming? J.O.K. That kid is going to be special. I mean, I hate to throw around, Derek Thomas or any of these guys, but that's what I see. That's what I see eventually. Like, this kid is the real deal. And he was an absolute steal in the second round. I got him as defensive rookie of the year. I got it at 14-1. I put it in. I gave it out as a play. It's one of the longer shots as far as, what's on the board, but I think he's got a shot to do it. I think he's going to surprise some guys today. Like, if you don't know who this kid is, you will tomorrow. You will definitely find out who he is.
I agree.
So this is Chuck. I'll let you go in a second. This is why we wanted to get Sunday morning quarterback. Where else do you see two actual fans of the teams actually have a solid back and forth, just getting points and points? You don't see this on TV. You don't see this on other YouTube channels. Sunday morning quarterbacks is where you get the best breakdown tactically. So, Chuck, what are you going to say back to it?
I seen JOK play. He's a talent. He's a nice talent, but Derek Thomas, hell no.
Brett, it's too early to call. You're talking. Derek was first ballot, bro. I'm thinking like, damn, that's their first ballot, bro. And that's
well,
tough.
you know, time will tell. Time will tell. We'll see. And I know that's a strong statement.
Mm-hmm.
So is saying the Browns are a better team than the Chiefs. But I can see angles to where both of those statements will be correct eventually.
All right, that's fair.
I respect it. That's fair
That is
because
fair.
they were damn good last year.
All right. This has been such gold. I haven't even thought about jumping in, man. You guys are awesome. I think that you guys should debate like damn near every game at some point. So anyways, I just got one sneaky fantasy take on this game, and it's Austin Hooper. Unless you have an elite tight end, this is a very sneaky start today. In the game against Kansas City last year, he had a 24% target share. Kansas City allowed, I believe it was top 5 to points per receiver, to PPR, points allowed for tight ends. In some weeks, they allowed the most. So unless you have another elite tight end option, I would say to go ahead and lock Austin Hooper in, and probably coming up a little later, you might hear about him on DFS Park.
I prefer David Njoku just in large field GPPs. He'll be less owned, and he's a little bit cheaper. I do like Hooper.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do like Hooper also. But, for large field, like the Millie Maker and stuff like that, Njoku will have about a third of the ownership probably, and he could actually outscore him today with the red zone targets. He's been implemented back in the offense. I know he kind of vanished. He went Houdini on us last year, but he re-signed with Cleveland, and he's going to be a part of their offense. Nobody's talking about him. Nobody even really thinks about him. And I think that he could shine today. Now, he might not see the field either. So that's why I like him in like the large events. A single entry tournament or a cash tournament, DFS wise, I would go with Hooper for sure, or Kelsey for that matter. But if you're trying to take down a Millie Maker today, Kelsey will be high owned. And if Njoku outscores him, I got a huge advantage on the field, just a huge advantage. And there'll probably be like 4 people that play David Njoku today. So that's my fantasy take on it.
That's not a bad take at all because Ben Neiman, every time I watch this guy play, man, he is so untrustworthy in our linebacking core. So I definitely like that tight end angle with the Browns. You want to get different in DFS.
Yeah, for sure. And, Chubb, Odell Beckham Jr., those guys are good. Play those guys. They're going to get theirs. That's no secret. Like, I don't have to sit on here and tell you to play Odell Beckham Jr. in fantasy. He's healthy. They've been practicing red zone targets, him and Baker. They've been staying late and working on red zone, end zone targets. So he's going to be, I expect him to get 8 to 10 targets, and he'll do his thing, probably 100 yards and a touchdown. That's what I would imagine. I mean, it's Odell Beckham Jr. Some people forget how good he is. You're talking Tyreek Hill. And I'm not going to say Odell Beckham Jr. is better than Tyreek Hill, but he's not far behind. So, and then you got Mahomes against Baker Mayfield. Again, Mahomes is better, but by how much? So, Kelsey.
A lot.
That's the one.
That was the first one.
That's the one thing I got to – hold on.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. I'm just saying the Browns have they have a quarterback that can play. It's not like they're running out, Trent Green or something. Like, they got a guy. So when you start comparing,
we're not about to diss Trent Green on this show. We're not about to diss Trent Green on this show, Mario. I'm sorry. We was far as one of the most explosive offenses in NFL history. We just have
yeah.
Hey,
come on.
Yeah.
Hey, you have to remember Trent Green launched Kurt Warner's career.
Yeah, hey, I'm in St. Louis. We are all big Trent Green fans around here. Trust me. He's our
All right,
MVP
so-
every year. But anyways, I like the Browns today. I bet them 16-1 to win the Super Bowl. I got the Jock on the defensive rookie of the year. I think they're both outstanding. You know, the Newsome kid, the cornerback, he's 28-1 for defensive player of the year. Rookie player, rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. I think that's a good bet also. I think either one of them, if the team's good and they're winning and the defense is as good as I think both of those kids have a shot at that award.
Yep. And like speaking of props, man, I'm gonna say one last thing and I'm gonna shut up. Chris Jones, defensive player of the year and sack leader. I think they was both at plus 5,000. I put a little sprinkle on that. It's not bad. Chris Jones is gonna be moving all over the defensive line this year. He's gonna be playing some defensive end and try to create some havoc there too. And preseason, he looked pretty damn good doing this. So I sprinkled a little bit on both with Chris Jones for those props. So those aren't bad plays to look at.
Well, thank you, fellas. That was Sosa. I know you got some stuff. I was about to say that was great. I appreciate both of you guys hopping in.
Make sure you guys are following Bullpen Bets, C-Pen for the win. Both the guys on Twitter. They obviously know what the fuck they're talking about, like I said, with the other people that we've had on here. So appreciate you guys. Great start to the season. I anticipate many, many, many dollars being received today.
Let's kill it. Let's get
go
it.
Chiefs! Let's get to it, man.
Thank you.
It, y'all.
All right. We went a little long on that one, but that was worth it. No questions asked there.
Yeah, it was.
Definitely.
And you know why we went a little long? Because this game was the next one up. Sorry, I mean, I have a little bit bias against this game, but I'll let you guys talk about this one because I don't got many nice. No, I'm just messing with you guys. I'm becoming a lot more less biased being live every day.
Fair enough. Bro, I don't have too much on this game, to be totally honest with you. I think the game's a low-scoring game. I think both teams' defenses are better than their offenses. I think both offenses are loaded with talent, but I don't trust either quarterback. For me, it's a underplay, probably, if anything. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, bro, there's better games to talk about. Fuck this game.
Here's my expert advice. If for fantasy, if the player's name is Jerry Jeudy, start him. That's my Broncos analysis for today. You have no idea. You have no idea how the carries are going to be split with Javonte and Melvin Gordon. You have no idea who's going to get the goal line work. I've heard multiple varying reports out of camp about he's going to get this and this guy's going to be that. And Javonte's a 3-down back, but Melvin's our guy. And I'm like, well, there's only so many plays that you can run. So how can Javonte be a 3-down back, but Melvin's your guy? That doesn't make any damn sense. So anyways, for the Giants, I would be a little careful about Saquon Barkley. I love him for the season. However, this is his first game back. And remember, the Giants play on Thursday night. So if you give him a heavy workload today, I don't know, would he be ready for a heavy workload on Thursday as well? Or do you do the opposite? So way too many question marks. We can move on. I have absolutely nothing on this game. And
I was about to say one thing before we go to our next game. This is more of a DFS question or maybe streaming fantasy question for you, Spin Doctor. Mm-hmm. Kyle Rudolph, is he worth it with Ingram being out today? Like, how desperate do you have to be putting him in? Is he a differentiator by any means?
There should be. I mean, unless you're in like a 15-team league or 16-team league, there should be way better options on your waiver wire. Honestly, I know we just talked about him. I might even rather go with David Njoku because of the touchdown upside than Kyle Rudolph today. Just new team in the new offense. No idea how he's going to be used. I think you have to be pretty desperate to go with him.
Gotcha. So let's get into our next game here. Bringing in our next analyst. We got Michael Means Jr. hopping in on us. Make sure you're following him on Twitter. He's a great follow. Caps soccer, caps everything like we do. How you doing, my man?
I'm good, fellas. I'm ready for week one. Patriots, legends of the fall, that we are. So it starts today. If we look at the numbers, Dolphins got a good chance today. But one thing's for sure, never put any money against the Patriots at home. So that's my best advice today.
Yeah, then don't do it the other way around. When the Patriots go to Miami, don't be putting any money on the Patriots. But we'll get into it. What are you liking today from spread and total wise?
Okay, so today, I listen. I don't want to be careless with you guys' money in week 1. I'm gonna kind of play it safe. I actually, with the spread and the over under. Listen, you got to go under, right? Dolphins defense is spectacular. Our defense, of course, is spectacular. And right now, it's, Brian Flores versus Bill Belichick. Defense is like really going to run hard on this, right? But guess what? I checked out some stats. AFC East teams in the month of September, they usually go over when they face each other. So that's why I'm going to kind of stay away from the over-under. I would naturally probably go to an under, but I'm not ready to put money on it. ATS-wise, everything, I ain't going to lie, looks like Dolphins. Just because if they're going to give you 2.5, it opened up at 2.5. Well, that's at home, right? We're favorited by 2.5. So what's home field's worth? What, a field goal, right? 3.
Yep.
So any way you go, you know what I mean? It's kind of like not for sure. But I'm gonna tell you this: as a Patriots fan since 1996, I'm not betting against the Patriots at home. That's that. But I did have a look. We have like during the free agent frenzy that we had this year, we acquired Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. Now Mac Jones is the starting QB. So this is kind of like a return to our offense from like a few years back. We're going to try to manufacture a Brady Gronkowski connection and kind of refabricate it with Brady and Hunter Henry. I'm sorry, with Mac Jones and Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. So I do got to play on the over on the receptions.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 2.5. So Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, over 2.5 receptions. Line me up, bro. I'm ready for that one.
Both
on each of them? Nice.
On each. I like that.
On each. There's better odds on Hunter Henry, but I think that's just because he's been injured like all preseason, but he'll be there. He's ready to play. We're going to kind of make this look like the Hernandez and Gronkowski years. Can I say Hernandez on this show? Or?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. All right.
Of course, bro. Of course. You can say Aaron Hernandez.
Hey, he played. He was a vital part of the team. I mean, just because of what happened after doesn't change that.
Hey, that's real. Yeah. But yeah, I like the play on the receptions from the two tight ends. Of course, I'm gonna say we'll make something happen for the game. So I like Patriots money line. I'll go that route.
Yeah, it's a nice little parlay piece there. Just coming from the Dolphin side, I mean, Flores, sure, he's familiar with the system. Tua going into the first game against that defense, that is kind of like, I thought Dak had a shitty setup for his first game of the season going against the Bucs defense. He had to throw it 60 times. Now Tua's first game, probably going against another top 5 defense, trying to get the fans back behind him, trying to instill all that confidence. I think he's going to show out a little bit today. I don't think he's going to be – I do think the Patriots win this one at home. The hook on the 3.5 keeps me off laying anything on the spread here, and I'm not dying to back the Dolphins with 3 and a hook either. So that's just kind of where Tua, it's his time to shine. I'm rooting for him. I like him as a player. I think he can do it with the options they build around him and with the defense that they have there. It's solid enough that if Tua is a serviceable top 15 quarterback, this team could be looking at the playoffs again. No?
I'm not sold on Tua. Listen, I get it was a COVID year. He didn't have a lot of time to, develop and everything like that. That's true, right? But at the end of the day, dang, I don't want to bash on Tua because he's a good guy. But look, I'm just not sold on him. He's small. I still got to see him make some more throws. I don't know. Tua's being like overhyped. Now, look, the real thing is Brian Flores gonna have them boys looking good. So Tua don't have to do too much. They don't have to ask him to do a lot. He's just got to make maybe like 3-4 throws a game to make sure they're good. But I don't know, man. I can't put it into like a sentence or words. I just got to see Tua more. I don't really I don't put too much in him right now. I hate the fact, young boy, but yeah, Tua ain't
No, I got you.
Yeah, well, and with the Dolphins too, I would probably try to avoid a lot of their team today in fantasy. I mean, Waddle, you have no idea how they're going to use him, what kind of share he's going to get. Gaskin again. I mean, there's just so many questions around usage. And I say this to anybody, whether you're in PPR, non-PPR, anything. Fantasy production is all about opportunity. So if you're going to get targets, if you're going to get carries, if you're going to get pass attempts, et cetera, right? Fantasy is about opportunity. And when you don't know or have there's so much muddy water about how things are going to be split up, it's really tough to back somebody unless you got a super deep league.
Yeah, like one thing's for sure with fantasy, it's gonna be crazy with like Patriots these first like few weeks, just because Bill Belichick treats like September like preseason, so you never know what you're gonna get really. The safe play, I know in a fantasy league I'm in, I do feel comfortable with the value on the tight ends. I'm talking this now, but they probably like a free agent in some of y'all leagues, but I think you guys are going to see like the Patriots go back to our old tight end ways. Like I said, I can't stress enough. Henry and Jonnu Smith are going to be utilized.
It's just going to be can the targets be shared there is kind of what the issue is going to be, because one guy will probably get his 60 and a touchdown. The other guy might get 2 and 30. So that's just kind of where until I see a distinct number one. And right now you're just 100% buy one on your waiver wire and you're getting a 50-50 shot that he's going to be the number one. And I would probably go Jonnu, just given Henry's history.
Right.
But that's just my 2 cents on that one.
No, you're totally right. I think, like I said, either one is good value as far as fantasy. I know Jonnu they'll probably bring in to do a lot of blocking, but it's the same. Like, look at what they did with Gronk and Hernandez. They're going to both be used. You know what I mean? As far as like our running game, like a lot of that was like predicated on our screens, like our screens, and we use our tight ends for screens. Listen, Bill Belichick is game planning towards the team he's facing that week. So it's not a consistent diet of anything. He always game plans to beat the team that he's playing. So James White could walk out with like 2 receiving touchdowns and, Damian Harris could have like, a rushing touchdown today. That shit don't mean nothing for week 2. Like, it don't mean nothing. So, I mean, it'll go back to like now Aguilar have like 100 yards receiving. Week 3 means nothing. We're back to like doing like, screens and stuff like that. So you never know what you're going to get, especially in September, where, like I said, Belichick kind of treats it like a preseason in itself. So it's like you kind of don't know what you're going to get with the Patriots until about like week 6, week 7. Then you can kind of be like, okay, I see the identity. But one thing's for sure, we're not scared of anyone in the AFC East, so we're probably coming for that crown again. And the Dolphins, I do respect, though. Flores runs a good program. Oh, yeah, that's because he's a Patriot, too. But, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that's the perfect way, Michael. Any last thoughts on this game? But that kind of seemed to be the best way to sign it off as a true Patriots fan right there.
No, I'm going to sit back and watch this game. I love the show. So I'm going to sit back and watch you guys' takes on the rest of the game. Spin Doc still hasn't given an official thank you to the Patriots organization for delivering that Super Bowl ring for you guys. Anytime, man. I'm waiting for it.
Hey, I said it last year. There is no way that we come anywhere close to the Super Bowl with the quarterback that we had before Mr. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Skip Bayless style again.
That's real. That's real. Yeah, that's cool.
Michael?
So I like the like I said, receptions with tight ends. I'm gonna be on Patriots money line. I ain't gonna lie to you. And that's
Michael, our man's West Coast New England fan. A little strange, but I fuck with you. Appreciate you, my guy.
Fucks with you too.
We appreciate you. Make sure to be following him on Twitter. Good picks every day from him.
Peace, my brother.
All right. Let's do it since we got the nod. We got
What's
Steven.
going on, y'all?
What's up, guys?
Sunday Night Football. We will get to this Green Bay New Orleans game, but we got our two analysts waiting here in the waiting room for us. So let's just get right into some Sunday Night Football. Insert the what's her name? Carrie Underwood music, and let's get right into it. Nod, how are you? The long-awaited debut. My man, I'm glad we finally got you on here.
What's going on, Sos Rex? Steven, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? It should be a hell of a game, man. I mean, we're looking at there's a lot to digest here. You got Matt Stafford's first game as a Ram. The first time fans are allowed into SoFi. You've got Chicago. I mean, I know Steven's waiting to see Justin Fields. We're all waiting to see Justin Fields. So, I mean, we could have a lot happening on Sunday Night Football week 1, man. Steven, what are your thoughts?
I'm hoping that this game kind of shows that Andy Dalton can't play with this line. Like, this line is not good enough to protect him, and he's not mobile enough to make anything happen. So, since the Rams have a good defensive line, I'm hoping this game exposes him, and we can make the switch sooner rather than later. But, I mean, there's so many injuries on the defense. Like, Eddie Goldman is out. Khalil Mack is questionable. I think he'll play, but if he's not playing at 100%, then he's not going to be the type of guy that we need. I think it could be a long night for the Bears.
I think so too, man. Like, in all honesty, one of the things that I read, Jordan Rodriguez did a really great piece on The Athletic about how McVay wanted to bring in Staley last year because Fangio's defense was the first to really figure his stuff out, right? So, I mean, he practiced against it all last year, and I think Sean Desai is going to do great things for the Bears. But from the Rams side of things, I mean, Stafford's seen the Bears how many times, right? And McVay's essentially practiced against this defense for an entire year. So, I mean, I think this is a really tough spot for Chicago to be in. I don't think we're going to get the high scoring. I've got under 46.5. It's one of the things I like in this game. And then Stafford over 23.5 completions. I think both of those things are pretty likely to happen, especially Stafford's going to throw the ball all over the yard. It's what we do. But the under in the game seems likely. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of like the.
Go ahead, Steven. I was just reacting.
I would kind of lean towards the under a little bit too, just because. I mean, who's really going to score for the Bears? Like, if Andy Dalton can't get the ball to Allen Robinson or Darnell Mooney, then that kind of kills the passing game. And again, just with not having a great line, like, what can David Montgomery do if there's guys in his face before he hits the line of scrimmage every play regardless? And then just when the Rams are on offense, I mean, Matthew Stafford's thrown 23 interceptions against the Bears. You think he's not going to turn the ball over some more in some important spots here? Like, I think just bad timing interceptions for Stafford and a lack of offense from the Bears is going to keep this game under.
I think I'm with you. I would love for it to be a shootout. You know, I would love to see Fields get in there, but I don't know. I don't know that we're going to get to see that this week unless, you know, Aaron Donald goes full Aaron Donald and takes Dalton out. So, I mean, we'll see. Do you have any fantasy thoughts on Bears to start and sit?
Bears starters. I mean, I would definitely. I mean, I'm playing them in one of my leagues just because I don't have another option, but I would probably sit David
never
Montgomery.
good reasoning.
Like, I think the smart play is to sit David Montgomery. I am in a bad spot in week 1 somehow already, so I am just stuck starting David Montgomery. But I think the only guy that should have a look at starting would be Darnell Mooney, just because he's a smaller, faster receiver. it's not going to take him as much time for Andy Dalton to get the ball to him, since there'll be a lot of screens and slants, like especially in PPR. I think he would get just a lot of targets, a lot of catches, even if it's not for a lot of yards. He'd be the closest guy to somebody I would like to start on the Bears this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm starting Rams defense if you got him. Robert Woods, obviously. I'm sitting Sony Michel because who knows. But I mean, I don't expect this to be a whole lot of points, and I don't expect it to be a shootout. So, I mean, A-Rob, I would struggle to start because, I mean, you got the Jalen Ramsey assignment. That's no fun.
No.
And you got Dalton as your quarterback. I don't know. I mean, maybe they come out and surprise us. I mean, Nagy's had a bag of tricks before. I mean, he stayed with Trubisky as long as he did and made it look competent somehow. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a good game. I don't think it's going to be, I don't think anyone's running away with it. But I think the Rams should win that game. But maybe, I don't know. I mean, Sunday Night Football week one's always weird, right? So, I mean, I think that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, the hook makes this game probably the most difficult thing to be betting, because if you're getting that 7.5 on the spread, I'm just checking to see what it's at 8.5 now.
Yeah, they moved it to 8. Oh, it's 8.5 now?
Yeah, the latest thing I've seen is 8.5. It looks like it's about to approach 9. Like laying that with the Rams just is tough. It's just a tough thing to do.
I gotta play in the game. Because the games I didn't have any action on, I stayed away. Man, Steve, I hate to say it, bro. Stafford about to beat the fuck out of y'all tonight.
He's my quarterback. That's my quarterback.
I hate to say it like that, bro, but you give McVay a guy that can stretch the vertical part, stretch the field vertically, and has the actual football acumen to make decisions without having him hold his hand every step of the way. I mean, bro, listen, imagine if McVay didn't hold his hand the whole way. Oh, my God, that would have been an absolute disaster.
Oh,
right?
no.
You're telling me you get a veteran quarterback that wants to win, knows how to throw the deep ball, is an accurate thrower of the football, who knows how to protect the football, is not going to – if you think he's not going to thrive under McVay, then you've been living under a fucking rock when, he's made guys like Kirk Cousins hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, as far as I'm concerned, bro, I see no hope in the Bears this game. I think that there's a lot of stuff that you have to that you have to just basically look at in regards to the Rams. The Rams they're Super Bowl or bust. There is no well, if we win the division, if we win 12, they're not out there to win anything else but a Super Bowl. They went and got Matt Stafford because they thought he was the guy that was a separating factor. You spent $250 million on a cornerback and defensive tackle. You gave up draft picks and $120 million contract to get the guy at quarterback. He better be the guy, and he better be good right away. I think think tonight's a statement. I think it's a statement from McVay saying, I've been talking all this shit about how great I am. I finally got the guy I wanted. I think McVay comes out tonight and puts it on him. That's
All I'm saying is it'll be nice for Matthew Stafford to feel like he can actually be able to beat the Bears soundly for once in his career after he just kept losing to us in Detroit.
Poor Stafford, man. I felt so bad for him. We shipped Jared Goff to NFL Siberia.
Yeah,
the best part about the trade, the best part about the Jared Goff trade is the fact that they sprinkled him in the deal like parsley. Like they gave them draft picks and they were like, hey, by the way, can you take this contract because we fucking hate him too? Like we'll just toss that in there. But here's these extra picks just to help you feel better about the shit that you're getting. Like that's basically what it is. They just sprinkled him in the fucking deal. Like, oh yeah, by the way, you're going to Detroit, bro. Like, fuck you. Like,
who was excited to go to Detroit? By the way, ever?
No. Hey, from a fantasy perspective, I got to go with Sosa on this one. I actually like all the Rams pass catchers tonight. I think Woods, Kupp. I think if you're doing a single game DFS, I think that's a fantastic stack. I believe in Stafford and that passing game in McVay a lot more than I believe in the Bears secondary. I I actually think that the Rams passing offense is a lot better option than I think some people are seeing right now. That's just my take.
One quick note, DFS wise, like if you're looking for a cheap wide receiver, Deshaun Jackson only needs one to take it home, right? To get value out of it, he's going to be mad cheap on DFS. I haven't looked at the numbers yet, but it only takes one, and Stafford's going to want to throw it.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. I like Woods. I like Kupp. There's a reason why they're signed long term. They fit the offense perfectly. They're route runners. They get open under 10 yards. They move the chains. Deshaun Jackson, if he's healthy,
first 3 games,
he can take the top off any defense. He's got legit track. We already know he's older, but he's got track speed. He can fly. And another thing that people need to throw in, just a little wild card in regards to him, he's from LA. He wants to put on for the city. It's where he's from. It's that's the reason why he signed with them. It makes a difference when you're in your hometown. The people show up to see you, and you want to put on a show. So that's just my sentiment in regards to Deshaun.
I'm with you, man.
I love the Deshaun pick. I think he's going to have a good season because you're not asking him to do anything but just run fast and far.
We tried to do that last season and the past 2 years, and he played 6 games. The man gets an oblique. He gets something up. So that's where Tutu Atwell on the Rams offense, he's the guy who, if you buy into early in deep leagues, he could end up paying off late because he'll end up almost doing the Deshaun role once he inevitably goes down.
Yeah, I mean, I think Deshaun's definitely a DFS tag.
10 minutes. 10 minutes away. We're almost to Christmas. It's like we made it. I feel like we made it.
Well, make sure to check out the nod. Make sure to check out Steve and Carlson right under their heads. That's where you can follow them at. We appreciate you guys coming in. You guys will be earlier next week because you guys don't have Sunday football or Sunday night football. But thank you, fellas.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Great
you
to
guys.
meet everybody, too. Take care.
Later, guys. Make sure you're following them. Appreciate you.
All right. One of the best games. I did bad time managing it. I said we weren't running hot anymore, and then we got long again. Packers versus the Saints. You guys, I'll let you guys all, whatever else you want to talk about on this game. Let's get into it.
Jamal Williams will start and carry the load for the Detroit Lions. Jamal Williams just got named the starter in Detroit.
Actually, against the 49ers defense, I still don't care.
Right? No, I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just saying for fantasy purposes.
Bro, I got it. Someone traded me in. Let's fucking go. All right.
Why?
Sorry,
Did Swift, is he not playing?
He's not starting.
He's not starting.
And according to the report, he's supposed to carry the load. I just got the report on Sleeper. Literally just got it seconds ago.
Well, there's that stupid rumor that was flying out there. I hope it's not that.
About him killing a guy?
Yeah.
Or something like that. I saw that, and I didn't want to really get into it. I thought it was like a burner account, but that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I did too.
We've been hearing.
I'm just hoping that's not weighing into it.
Yeah, we've been hearing all the last few days some weird stuff in regards to Philly and like investigation. But on to the game. We're minutes away from ending the show. On to today's game: New Orleans versus Green Bay. I personally have a hard time taking New Orleans. I think New Orleans is going to play very good. I like the under in the game. That's my lead play. I think the under is the play. I think New Orleans has an elite defense. We know what we're going to get from those guys. I think they're looking to play a better game than they did last year against the Packers. Give me New Orleans plus the 3.5. Give me Alvin Kamara's reception yards and his receptions for the game. I think that Jameis, will have a good time doing his thing. I think that Devontae will eat, but remember, I disagree 100%. Saints secondary is not trash. That's fake news.
100% agree. Saints defense is not trash by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, but they had a top 5 defense all season last year. Get out of here. I love you. I need money, but that's a bad take, my boy.
Yeah, I was actually going to say one tight end that I would avoid, and I would actually look at an under prop would be Tanyan on virtually anything. I think that honestly, I think that Tanyan is the most overrated tight end from a fantasy perspective for this year, most overdrafted tight end for this for a fantasy perspective. One other thing to remember too, if you're thinking about taking the Saints, This game's in Jacksonville, so there's no Superdome advantage now. And going back to Tanyan, so the Saints finished second last year in DVOA versus tight ends, and their defense doesn't look a whole lot different. The only other guy that I would think about possibly deploying either for a prop, maybe a DFS, would be Marquez Callaway, just because he's got great rapport with Jameis, or he had in preseason, and the guy is just a freakish athlete and can fly. So they might hook up for a deep one. But yeah, outside of Kamara, it's really tough to trust anybody in fantasy. It's always tough to trust Jameis in a league that gives negative points for turnovers. But I think from the Packers side, I mean, if you got the main guys from the Packers, you're starting them. There's no scenario where you don't start Rodgers, where you don't start Devontae and everybody else on that you would normally start. So I don't have a whole lot of other takes on this game other than I would very much wait and see on the Saints guys outside of Kamara before I would deploy them on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, the usual suspects for when you come to props for Green Bay, you're gonna always take a look at Devontae. He's just so high volume. Aaron Jones, again, those are the guys. I personally, I agree with everything you said in regards to Tunyon. And also outside of Devontae, we always say this straight up: Aaron Rodgers is who makes those other guys good. Straight up.
Yep.
So
agreed.
With that being said, I got nothing left, man. I think we had one hell of a first show. We brought in who we wanted to. Shout out to Pick City, our sponsor. Me and Spin Dog are both available on their website. Check out our NFL packages. He's got the props, the picks, everything. I got stuff too. I appreciate you, Rex. I feel like we did a fucking fantastic job.
Love it.
Crazy.
No dry run. No nothing. We work people in and out.
We did this.
I'll do better not typing loud during the show next time, and I'll yell my neighbors who I don't know to have that baby stop crying. But
Brian,
fucking fire show. Other than that,
Woods, that's a no doubter. Hold on, before we quit.
Oh
that's
yeah.
That's a no doubter. Robert Woods over Mike Davis. So like Mike Davis, we don't know his role yet on that team. You 100% want to go with Robert Woods. He's going to be a high volume guy. He's going to get 10. He gets 10 targets off the bus. Everything else, we got football in 3 minutes. Appreciate everyone. Let's get some fucking money. Let's have a wonderful Sunday. Everyone, appreciate y'all for joining us. Spin Doc, Rex, until next week, we are
Deuces.
Sunday morning quarterback.